So,
I was not impressed with episode 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier at all. Not impressed. It wasn't bad, and I wouldn't say I enjoyed it. It was entertaining enough, and I found it pretty bland. Um, but then again, I started to think. I was thinking to myself, man, am I being biased which isn't true because I'm a huge MCU fan, but I was trying to figure out why I felt the way I felt about the show, the way I feel about the show, and I think it's simply because it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's not about Captain America or Iron Man or Incredible Hulk or, it's not about really really big heroes. These are small time heroes. These aren't really major characters in the MCU. So it goes to show, it only figures that Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the TV show, is a small time show. It's not a major show. So I have to temper my expectations. That being said, I just got through episode 2 and I wrote some stuff down, my thoughts, and going in, I can tell you right away that it's definitely, I felt it was better than episode 1. Definitely a better outing than episode 1, which I guess was just a lot of setup. And generally, once again, I've tempered my expectations. This is not. I shouldn't be expecting too much from this show. But anyway, I'll give you a quick rundown. Please watch out for spoilers because I don't want to ruin it for anybody who's looking to go in there fresh. But given what I'm about to talk about, I think you can still completely enjoy the show. So episode 2 has a great start. I love the way they introduce the new Captain America. What they do is they introduce him as a high school superstar. They introduce him at his high school football field. So he's a homegrown guy. Everybody knows him. This was very cool. This was very nuanced. I really enjoyed that because if you're trying to be a writer and you're looking up writing techniques and ways to do exposition, this was a great way to do exposition for the new Captain America, right? So yeah, he's a homegrown star, really grounded guy, well-decorated soldier, and most importantly of all, he doesn't have any superpowers. I didn't know that going in. That's interesting. I found that kind of weird. Why would this Captain America not have any superpowers? And with no superpowers, how would he be able to contend with all the villains out there that he's going to be going up against? But there's a reason why, which I'll be getting to later on. It's setting up for something. Sam and Bucky have finally come together in this episode, and there was no big deal or ceremony or no big hoopla about them coming together. It wasn't like the government put them together like I thought it would be, like I was expecting, which I was just trying to figure out how they were going to bring Sam and Bucky together. And basically, Bucky just comes up to Sam after they find out that the shield that Sam relinquished to the government was now given to this random guy. So Bucky comes to confront Sam about it while Sam is on his way to a mission, and Bucky just tags along. Boom. Falcon and Winter Soldier together now. That's it. Bucky is so impatient. I was trying to figure out why is he so grumpy? Is he so short? What's his problem? I guess, he was the Winter Soldier. He has all this PTSD, stuff like that. And I guess this is the way the writers have chosen to deal with that, along with him trying to atone for his sins as the Winter Soldier in episode 1, which they were concentrating on quite a bit more then than here. But I was trying to figure out, I'm not quite gelling with Bucky. I don't know what his deal is, but I guess that's what's going on. They're trying to show that this is a 100-year-old man stuck in a middle-aged man's body, right? So he's like a grumpy old man in a middle-aged man's body. So that's what's going on with Bucky. So he's really impatient, and, I was like, man, why are you so grumpy? It's not even your mission. It was really, really short with Sam. And they go on this mission. They go to the warehouse where the Flag Smashers are supposed to be, and they find out they're really strong. And there's been a lot of speculation about these guys being mutants, which they're not. Another kind of, letdown, I guess, because everybody thought these TV shows were going to be introducing new elements into the MCU, like from WandaVision to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And we've all kind of just been, we've had to eat our words because none of that's happening. These guys they're just super soldiers, right? They have some rogue super soldier serum in them, which plays into a big part of the end of this episode and basically what this whole season is about. So I guess it's going to be tackling what a regular hero can do against super enhanced soldiers, super serum soldiers, which makes sense. It's Captain America. It has a lot to do. The concept of Captain America has a lot to do with the super soldier serum, right? They finally engage the Flag Smashers, who are the bad guys. Finally, we get them to, they meet up and they finally fight and they completely get their asses kicked. But it's also then that the new Captain America and his partner, what's his name? Battlestar. Corny as hell. I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy. But I see what they're doing. They are Battlestar and the new Captain America are parallels to Bucky and Wilson, right? They are and Sam Wilson. They are like a dark power. They will become a dark parallel, right? And I see that that's good writing. It's compare and contrast, right? So those guys show up. Now it's 4 good guys against the super-powered Flag Smashers. And now all the good guys get their asses kicked because, once again, the new Captain America doesn't have any superpowers, right? But after that scene, they get their asses kicked. The Flag Smashers get away. Things start to get a little political. This is when I start to get, I don't like hair in my soup. I'm here for entertainment. But things start to get political as they go to visit this guy's house, this Isaiah guy. But this was an interesting scene because I didn't know this, but we find out. I don't know if they just created this just for this show, but we find out that Isaiah is the first super soldier. I think he was the first super soldier, or he was created during the time of Captain America. And being the first super soldier and being black, he was kind of shoved under the rug. He wasn't given any accolades or respect. In fact, he was imprisoned and then tested upon. So they really did this guy dirty. And the actor they got playing is, I don't know his name, but he's a really, really great actor, really great character actor, black actor. And he's really amazing, and he's really angry about what's been done to him. And he really doesn't want to see Bucky. No one knew about this guy. Only Bucky has known about him. Actually, they sent this guy in to fight Bucky one time. And in the scene, he tells a story about how no one could stop him, so they sent this Isaiah black super soldier in, and he rips off half of Bucky's arm back in the day, right? So he really doesn't like Bucky, kicks him out of the house, right? But right after that, some cops show up, and I don't know why they show up. Why did they even show up? Who called them? Anyway, they showed up, and Bucky and Sam are arguing as usual outside Isaiah's house, and the cops show up and they start harassing Sam, because that's what cops do these days. We're living in the Black Lives Matter days. We're living in, everybody's angry these days, and they confront Bucky and they ask Sam, and they ask Sam, "Is this gentleman bothering you?" Like playing up our social atmosphere these days, right? And I don't know how. Once again, I don't like hair in my soup. I was like, "What? This is just too like." It didn't seem realistic. I've experienced quite a bit of bias in general, but even here, I just don't like that stuff in my entertainment. I don't like it. I don't like it because I don't think writers, especially writers of this caliber, they don't have the skill to pull that off properly. Plus, I just don't want to see it in a freaking Marvel TV show, right? So to start harassing Sam, putting him in a spot because he's black, harassing the white man, and Bucky has to be like, yo, leave this guy alone. We're just talking. And of course, Sam is giving them a lot of attitude, and the guy has his hand on his gun, and it's just, it just goes back. It just shows, that these guys are really trying to tap into the zeitgeist of today, which is not a very pleasant one, right? But eventually they flip the script because it's Bucky who gets arrested because he's kind of on parole and he has legally mandated therapy sessions that if he misses, it's like missing a call with your parole officer. So he has to, be taken in. So he's arrested, That was interesting the way they flipped that. That was the only good thing I enjoyed about that. Yeah, and it's during that time that Sam and Bucky finally have the therapy session scene that we've been seeing in all the trailers of them talking to each other with your thighs interlinked, and they're having a one-to-one and having a staring competition. This is where we get that finally, and we learn why Bucky is so salty towards Sam, and is the fact that Sam gave up the shield, and more importantly now this rando new Captain America has a shield. And I was trying to hear, which is valid, then I was trying to understand Sam's perspective, and I was trying to listen to what he had to say, and all he had to say was, hey, don't you think that you and Steve didn't figure out that maybe what I thought I was doing was right? And that's where he ended his conversation about the whole matter, which was not enough for me. I was expecting more there, but it just goes to show, like, there isn't really any substance there, right? Like, there isn't more to go on. I really wanted more from that scene if they were just trying to explain why these guys have beef. But they've always had beef because since Civil War, and because of how Bucky was back in the day. So there's still so Sam is still a little raw about that, I guess. But once again, it feels old. I am over that. But these guys they're in the universe, I guess they're not over it. But once again, it's tired. I don't care. So this was the scene where they were supposed to establish why these guys have so much conflict, right? And I wasn't sold on it. I was hearing where Bucky was coming from. Yeah, he gave up the shield, and now this asshole has it. Boom. I understand that. But Sam's argument was weak. Bucky was in trouble because he didn't call his therapist, and he was arrested. But the new Captain America comes in, and because he has all this power, he's basically the government now. He gets Bucky released so they could all talk. Him, Battlestar, Bucky, and Falcon to talk about working together to stop the Flag Smashers, right? Yeah, they try to team up, but that doesn't work out because Sam and Bucky are kind of free agents, right? They have limited oversight, while Battlestar and the new Captain America, they're basically the government. All eyes are on them, right? There's, when the new Captain America came into the police station to help out Bucky, there's press everywhere. So basically, there's a lot of attention on him, right? So Sam is like, hey, we can't work together because of that. We're kind of covert and you are overt, right? And it's there. And it's during that scene, you start seeing the new Captain America twitch and shit. And you realize, oh, they're setting us up. Just from the beginning of his introduction, you could tell that, okay, they're setting things up for this guy flipping out and going crazy, right? Like, this is where you really get it. And he says that, hey, okay, if we're not going to work together, you better not get in our way. The darkness, that darkness within him is coming out more and more, right? Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode more than the first one. Things are moving along, like it's moving along, and therefore, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more. The conspiracy is kind of juicy, but it's weak in the sense that there is no real villain. The Flag Smashers are kind of whatever, but the Flag Smashers are just a vehicle to convey the theme of the story, which is super serum. Captain America super serum, right? And that's what they are, and I guess that's why they're weak. And I'm just going to read what I wrote here because I don't want to paraphrase. Yeah, the Flag Smashers, their objectives and motivations are kind of vague. It may be an extreme analogy for the state of the world today where a lot of people want change. But their motivation isn't palpable. It's always important to clearly understand the motivation of the motivation of a villain. Understanding the motivation gets us involved. We know what's at stake, right? Like if you take the Joker in The Dark Knight, you could really feel the chaos and the unpredictability throughout the movie, right? You could really feel that. You really didn't care about what Batman was thinking. You were just trying to deal with the anxiety that is brought about by the Joker being present in this world. You don't get that here, right? The Flag Smashers as villains, they're not really strong. They're not strong at all. I don't find them strong. I don't find them interesting, which is why I guess they don't spend a lot of time on them. And the times they do spend on them, you kind of zone out. I kind of zoned out because their motivation isn't interesting. And their motivation basically is they are trying to bring things back to the way things were before everybody who disappeared during the blip were blipped back in. So when the blip happened and everybody disappeared, they liked the way things were, right? Where there wasn't as many people and the government was different. But as soon as people were brought back, things went back to the way they were, right? So they don't like that. I find that kind of weak. I find that kind of weak. Because um, a big part of why that's weak is because we did not experience, as an audience, we did not experience what happened to the people who survived the blip, right? We got a little bit of that in Endgame, right? But not really, not that much. We had the 5 year skip or whatever that was. And then we got Captain America in therapy sessions with a bunch of people. We got him talking to Black Widow at the Avengers headquarters. But we never really experienced, let's say, if the Flag Smashers were around during that time as regular people, we did not experience what they were experiencing then. So I can't empathize with their plight whatsoever. So their motivation is kind of weak because it's kind of non-existent. We haven't experienced that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know what they're talking about. So that's their motivation. Once again, validating the fact that they make for very weak villains, right? Yeah. So the new Captain America has no superpowers, but it's a setup. Because he's clearly kind of a mentally traumatized individual. They kind of touching that a little bit with scenes and with some conversations he has, I guess, with his love interest and his buddy, who's Battlestar. But you can see that he is going to be the main villain of this show. He's going to be the one that Bucky and Sam are eventually going to have to stop, because I think what's going to happen is he's going to take the rogue super serum that's empowering the Flag Smashers because he has fears of not being able to measure up as Captain America. So he's going to compensate. He's going to take this super serum. That coupled with his mental instability, because earlier on in the scene, his buddy Battlestar talks to him about how, hey, there's a lot riding on you being Captain America. You're not going to be able to punch your way out of situations anymore. You're going to have to logic and use your smarts to get out of things, right? So he clearly has a dark history. Like, once again, highly decorated with 3 medals of honor, stuff like that. So he's a highly decorated soldier, no superpowers, but clearly being a super soldier suffering from PTSD. And that's going to lead him down the dark path. I could even see him taking out his partner. We'll see what happens. But once again, weak villains in the Flag Smashers. And I think they're doing that because they're setting up the fact that the real villain of the show is going to be the new Captain America, right? Yeah. So that's basically it for episode 2. That's the rundown. And I enjoy this way more than episode 1, but it's pretty forgettable. Before I get into that stuff, the episode actually ends with, because they're trying to figure out, because the super serum these people have, the Flag Smashers have, is not government sanctioned. So where did the serum come from? Which is why Bucky suggested they go visit Isaiah, the first black super soldier, right? Because they're trying to figure out if he had anything to do with the Flag Smashers having the super serum, but he clearly doesn't, right? I don't know if we'll see him again. So the serum has to be coming from the black market, from the bad guys, Hydra, right? And that's what leads them to go talk to Zemo. And that's how the episode ends, right? So that's interesting. And the story, this conspiracy and this story is interesting because it has to do with the past of our main characters. Like, Bucky's trying to get over everything that happened as the Winter Soldier, but it's not going to be easy for him because because of new things taking place in this story, he has to revisit his dark past. He has to go back to Hydra. He now has to go talk to Zemo, who was using mind control on him, who used him to take out a bunch of people, right? So this is pretty traumatizing, and that's interesting. That is pretty interesting, I have to say. But all in all, it's not epic. It's not major. This is a smaller scale story, I guess. So I have to temper my expectations accordingly, right? Yeah, it's more of a character-driven story, you could say, but you could say that about anything, right? But what this should exist. Should this exist? I don't think so. Like, I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care if it's necessary. But hey, it's entertainment. Whatever goes, right? But but once again, I think my beef with this show is the fact that it's not that it's a bad show. It's the fact that it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What do you expect, right? So stay tuned. I will be following up with every episode. I'll be talking to you guys about what's going on and what I think about it. And is this worth watching? Yeah, of course. Like, you don't have much of a choice. I'm gonna keep watching it. Like, I watched all 3 episodes of Invincible before I got to watching the new episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier because I just found that way more interesting. Way more interesting. But hey, if you've seen it, if you're following it, if you think I'm totally full of dong poopy, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help me grow. I'm hoping to do lots more for this channel, and I need your help to do it, ladies and gentlemen. So subscribe, notification bell, comment, like, dislike. Thank you, and we live in a society. Peace.